Most people read books about money in random order. They pick whatever is trending, whatever someone recommended, whatever showed up in an algorithm, and they wonder why nothing seems to connect or stick. The books I'm about to share have been some of the most impactful things I've read over the years, but what makes them work together is the sequence. Each one builds on what the previous one established, and reading them in the wrong order is like trying to build a roof before you have laid the foundation. Here's the order and the specific reason it matters. Book number 1, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. You start here because nothing else works until this is right. Most people approach building wealth as a strategy problem. They look for the right business model, the right investment, the right opportunity, and what they miss is that their results are being shaped by something much more fundamental than strategy. What they actually believe about money at a level they are rarely even aware of. The author calls this your money blueprint. It's the unconscious set of rules you absorb growing up from your parents, your environment, the things you heard repeated around you. That money is hard to come by, that wanting more is greedy, that comfort is the goal. Those beliefs sit in the background of every financial decision you make and quietly pull you back toward whatever feels familiar, regardless of what you consciously want. The reason this book comes first is simple. You can have the best strategy in the world and still self-sabotage if your blueprint isn't aligned with where you want to go. So you have to fix the foundation before you build anything on top of it. Book number 2, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Once your mind is right, the next thing to understand is that all money comes from people. Every sale, every deal, every opportunity, every referral, there is no path to wealth that doesn't run through other human beings at some point. And the people who build wealth fastest are almost always the ones who are generally good at understanding what other people want and make them feel valued. Dale Carnegie's core insight is that people are driven by emotion far more than logic. They make decisions based on how they feel and they justify those decisions with reasoning after the fact. Which means if you want to influence anyone, the starting point is always understanding what they actually care about, not what you think they should care about. In marketing and copywriting, this is basically everything. The difference between a message that lands and one that gets ignored is almost always whether the reader feels understood. Not informed, not impressed, understood. This book comes second because once you have the right mindset, the next skill to build is the ability to genuinely connect with people. That skill underlies everything that follows. Book number 3, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now that you understand people, it's time to understand how money actually works. The most important idea in this book is the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out. And the trap most people spend their entire lives is spending their income of things that feel like success, while the people actually building wealth are quietly building things that generate more income. The car, the clothes, the apartment in the right neighborhood. These feel like rewards for working hard, and they are, but they are also holes in a bucket that will keep you dependent on your next paycheck indefinitely. Kiyosaki, the author, also challenges the idea that a job is the path to wealth. A job gives you income, but income stops the moment you stop working. So the goal here is to stop building things that generate returns without requiring your constant presence. A business, an asset, a skill that commands premium rates and compounds over time. This book comes third because once you understand people and have the right mindset, you need a clear picture of how wealth is actually built. This gives you that picture. Book number 5, Essentialism. At this point, you have the mindset, the people skills, and the financial framework. Now the question is where to focus. And this is where most people get lost because once you understand that building wealth is possible, the options feel endless. Every platform, every business model, every strategy seems worth pursuing. And the trap here is thinking that more options mean more opportunity. The author's argument is that the way most people operate, trying to do everything, saying yes to everything, being available for everything, spread effort so thin that nothing compounds. You're always moving but never building a real momentum in any direction. The shift he proposes is relentless asking what is the one thing that matters most right now, and have the discipline to say no to everything that isn't that. Not forever, just long enough to actually see what focused effort produces. So for anyone building something online, this is critical. The people who grow fastest are almost never the ones doing the most things. They are the ones who picked something specific and went deep enough that they actually became good at it. This book comes fourth because focus without direction is basically useless. But once you have the direction, this teaches how to protect it. Book number 5, Atomic Habits. Everything you have learned from the previous 4 books means nothing without this one, because understanding something and consistently doing something are completely different things. And the gap between those two is where most people's ambitions die. The author's core argument is that your outcomes are lagging indicators of your habits. What you're producing today is the result of what you've been doing consistently for months or years. Which means if you want different results, the place to start isn't the goal, it's the daily behavior that will eventually produce it. The specific idea I found most useful is attaching new behaviors to things you already do consistently. You're not trying to build willpower from scratch. You're inserting a new action into existing patterns so the existing routine carries the new one along. So for building skills, for creating content, for doing outreach, for anything that requires showing up regularly over a long period of time, this framework is the difference between someone who makes progress and someone who stays stuck in the same place year after year. This book comes last because simply execution is the final piece. Everything else you have built mentally, relationally, financially, and strategically only produces results if you show up consistently enough for the compounding to kick in. So read these 5 books in this order and you understand why some people build wealth that lasts while most people stay exactly where they are. I'm Kay, and on this channel I break down the real side of building a business online. Subscribe if you want more of this.